This is the last episode of Tactic before the World Cup starts. It's going to be Thursday morning here in Bangkok. FIFA's super grand 48 team experiment kicks off in Mexico City with Mexico versus South Africa. And from that point until July 19th, we're going to have a tournament so big it has its own logistics department and a carbon footprint visible from space. But hey, 48 teams, 104 matches, 3 host countries, 38 days. I'm exhausted thinking about it. The first thing we have to address, though, was what happened Sunday afternoon in Odense in a Denmark-Ukraine friendly. Christian Eriksen collapsed on the pitch for the second time in 5 years. He clutched his chest, went down, was briefly unconscious. His pacemaker did his job, luckily. He walked off the pitch himself. He's in the hospital now for first examinations. The team said he's doing okay for, the situation he's in. The match was abandoned. All of football is sending love, of course. The man now needs space and privacy, and I wish him all the best. That's all I'll say. No deep dive, no 5-year retrospective. The guy went through this once on TV, and once is way more than enough. Now, the football. Since this is a German-centered podcast, we start with Germany beating the United States 2-1 this past Saturday at Soldier Field in Chicago. By the way, you hear my voice, so I'm still struggling, recovering from the cold, or a flu, actually, probably. So pardon me if I have to drink here and there just to keep the voice working. Havertz scored a header in the second minute of a Kimmich free kick. Then Antonee Robinson from Fulham scored a crazy goal. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Pardon me. Like one of the filthiest first-time strikes that you might see. In the 37th minute, into the roof of the net, it even grazed the crossbar on the way in. Beautiful, beautiful goal. So 1-1 at the break. Then in the 57th, Leroy Sané, who's now with Galatasaray, for those who don't know, because I guess that's a thing now to play in Turkey. He took a Havertz pass and finished low into the corner. Very nice. So Germany are now on 9 consecutive wins. In Nagelsmann called the match the perfect test. I'm not quite sure why, but okay. I think that's what they always say when they win, right? We're gonna do a proper coach's eye on Germany in a little bit. We're also gonna go over the new rules that FIFA is bringing to this World Cup, which are interesting at times and weird in roughly equal measure. We're gonna look at favorites and dark horses, and then we're going to leave football for a little bit and do like a 5 minutes dive into the women's VNL Volleyball Nations League, because the VNL just started and there are actually matches happening that are also kind of fun. Plus, of course, we have to talk about the NBA Finals. Wembanyama threw a pass away, or threw a pass to a guy with the wrong jersey to lose game 2. We talk about why that's both extremely bad and also pretty normal for a 22-year-old. I'm Sasha, 20 years coaching team sport. This is Tactic, the show where we watch sport the way a coach watches it. Alright, let's check into the friendlies first before we go into coach's eye, of course. Quick run through of all the relevant friendlies that have happened over the past few days. Germany, USA 2-1. We already covered that. Coach's eye is gonna come in a minute. We have Portugal 2, Chile 1. Quite a workout for Portugal. Huh? Chile aren't at the World Cup, but they made Portugal really earn. Bruno Fernandes and the engine, of course. Midfield with Vitinha and Joao Neves is very scary. Very young still also, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Great team. Belgium 5, Tunisia 0, and then we had Belgium 2, Croatia 0. So Belgium now have scored 7 and conceded 0 across 2 friendlies. Nice, against decent opposition. Croatia made the World Cup final in 2018 and the semis in 2022. Golden generation of De Bruyne and Hazard now from Belgium is gone. The new generation is younger, more athletic, less famous, and apparently pretty good. They're in Group G with Egypt, New Zealand, and Iran, and I don't think I go on a limb by saying they will win the group, and then it gets interesting. We had also Brazil 2, Egypt 1. Carlo Ancelotti is now coaching Brazil. Bruno Guimaraes scored in the 7th. Then we had Zico equalizing in the 11th, and then Endrick scored the winner in the 52nd. Neymar's not in the squad, still injured. And without Neymar, Brazil are still Brazil. But the question is, what kind of Brazil? And we know how Ancelotti plays, right? Ancelotti coaches structured football, which is not historical Brazilian football. But I guess we'll see. We had Argentina 2, Honduras 0. Argentina coasting. Messi rested with muscle fatigue. Martinez scored from the spot. Then Simeone with the second. They face Iceland at the time of recording. Let's see how that goes. England 1, New Zealand 0. Huh. What to say, right? New Zealand exists. England beat them. Cool. But 1-0, huh? We have Norway 3, Sweden 1, and then Morocco 1, Norway 1. And I find this interesting because those were two of the tournament's most tipped dark horses against each other. Brahim Diaz scored for Morocco, and Norway settled into the game later on, and then Ødegaard equalized in the 76th. Set up by Bob, who, by the way, did a great job on my Football Manager 26 teams. Haaland was scoreless, but okay. Morocco lost Essa Lustuli, sorry, due to injury. Both teams can be okay with the result, but both also gotta be slightly worried, especially, of course, due to the injury. More on this also later. If France won, Ivory Coast 2 last week. Deschamps called it a World Cup reminder. Right now it's France versus Northern Ireland. Let's see how that goes. That's the friendlies. Let's jump into the analysis. So let me do Germany Pro League, right? The coach's eye, what Germany actually looks like, and what the match against the US told us. Well, so Germany beat the US 2-1 in Chicago in front of 63,000 people who were yelling, what are they screaming? We like it, we like it, we love it. Woo. The match was a tune-up, right? The numbers that matter here, I don't know. Germany had 51% possession, almost even against the USA team that, with great respect, is not a top 8 team in the world. Even though the Americans don't want to hear that. Germany did not dominate the United States. They beat them, and I think those are different things. Havertz scored early in the 2nd minute. After that, the US punched back, and they got a goal back in the 37th from Robinson, and then the first half ended 1-1. And to be honest, Germany had been outplayed for about, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes of it. And then in the second half, Germany found another gear. Sané scored in the 57th, and after that, they controlled. The US had a few more good chances, like you could not have complained if they would have scored more goals. Nagelsmann called it the perfect test, and I think, while I disagree with Nagelsmann a lot, he's right. It was a test. I think he's wrong because I don't think it was perfect. And that's where now my problems come up, right? So one, we talked about it last time. The goalkeeper problem. Manuel Neuer was 5 weeks ago announced as Germany's number 1 for the tournament. He has now not played for the national team in those 5 weeks. Calf issues from the Köln match, then the cup final, then more issues. Oliver Baumann has now started both of Germany's pre-tournament friendlies. Baumann is playing decently, but the team is going to the World Cup with genuine uncertainty about who starts against Curaçao next Sunday. Neither Neuer's calf nor Nagelsmann's plan has held up the way they were supposed to. Second, Lennart Karl is out. Karl, 18, from Bayern, supposed to be one of Germany's wide attacking options, suffered a thigh injury, I believe, in training, and it's done. So Nagelsmann's wide rotation is now Sané, Wirtz, Leveling. Sané scored on Saturday, but Sané has to be good for Germany to be good. It's the most repeated sentence in German football going back to 2019. Because he has great moments, but he never really has great games. Um, Nagelsmann called Antonee Robinson up to replace Lennart Karl. Um, but yeah, that's of course a shock for the team because Lennart Karl is a good player. Not a first 11, not a starter in the national team yet, but definitely could bring some impulses. That's how they say it. Third point, problem number three, the depth is thin. Uh, Center back, we have Tar, we have Schlotterbeck. Kimmich is at the base of midfield, but played right defender again, of course. Musiala and Wirtz pushing forward. Havertz is the false nine-ish forward. So that 11 is top tier, but the drop off to the second 11 is pretty significant, I think. And like I said last time, the fourth problem pillar is the coach. It's a second tournament. The first one, last Euro 2024, was decent, but it was the home Euro. Yeah? Quarterfinal exit to Spain in extra time with a handball. We all remember that. He's grown to the job. Okay. He's shown the willingness to revise his own plans. Okay. But his communication seems somewhat questionable. The way he brought Neuer back, the way he didn't talk to Oliver Baumann, apparently, the way he behaved in public, interviews when he went to the sports studio, one of the Germany's biggest sports shows, and didn't come off very likable or very well spoken. Just from a communications point of view, he doesn't seem like someone that communicates that well with the players. And I think that's incredibly important, especially for a tournament coach, because in those 8 weeks, you have to have a very tight group. So let's move into the realistic prediction, right? So Germany might be at around 10 to 12% on a good day to win the World Cup. I think the floor is the round of 16 exit, to be honest. Ceiling, the final. Most likely outcome, quarterfinal, maybe semifinal exit to one of the big ones: Spain, France, Argentina, England, Brazil, Portugal. And Portugal is a big one now. The opening match is on Sunday against Curaçao. Yes, Curaçao, the Dutch 2 team. Population 150,000. Germany should win that 4-0 or so. Then Ecuador on June 19th and then Ivory Coast on June 24th. They should top the group. If Germany gets to a quarterfinal against Spain, that's where the tournament gets decided. Spain are, fair to say, I think, the best tactical football team in the world, and Germany would need a near perfect tactical match. It's possible, not likely. My most realistic Germany journey, from my point of view, 3 points in the group every match, win the round of 16, lose in the quarterfinal. That would be a good tournament. Not a great one. I would love to be wrong, obviously. I'm German. I want them to win it. But the honest readers, top 6 team, real chance to embarrass themselves, real chance to make a final. Most likely splits the difference. Okay, before I go to the other teams, FIFA has decided to change the rules, right? A lot of them. Let me run through that real quick, because some of these are actually going to affect how matches play out. And a few of them are, I want to say, even absurd in a way that I want on the record. So, Coach's Eye FIFA's new rules ranked by how weird they are. Here's the deal. The International Football Association Board, IFAB, FIFA's rule-making cousin, approved a package of changes that get their first major tournament use at this World Cup. Some of these are clean upgrades. Some of these are, let's say, creative. Let me walk through the ones that matter. Okay, number 1. 5-second countdowns on throw-ins and goal kicks. Biggest practical change. Referees will hold up a hand and visibly count down 5 seconds. Throw-in not taken in time, ball goes to the opposition. Goal kick not taken in time, corner awarded to the opposition. This is real. This actually changes football. Goalkeepers have been holding goal kicks for 30 to 40, 50 seconds for years, wasting time, breaking momentum, letting the team reset. That entire micro strategy is dead. If you watch the Japan-Iceland friendly, the rule was already in effect. They tested it. Goalkeepers had to adjust on the fly. Coaches I read here, this favors high-pressing teams enormously. Spain, Germany, Belgium, Argentina, all teams that want to win the ball high up the pitch. They now have an opponent who cannot slow the game down to reset. Conversely, defensive teams who used to bunker for 70 minutes and steal a goal, Morocco's 2022 model, for example, lose one of their key tools. Number 2, 10-second substitution rule. Substituted player must leave the field within 10 seconds. If they don't, their replacement has to wait at the side for 1 minute before entering. So if your veteran takes a slow stroll off the pitch to waste 30 seconds in the 89th minute, congratulations, you're playing a man down for the next 60. Also clean, also good. This is FIFA finally acknowledging that the slow motion substitution shuffle every team does in the final 10 minutes was a strategy and is now a cost. Number 3. Number 3. VAR can now overturn second yellow cards and corner kick decisions. So VAR's powers have expanded. Previously, straight red cards were reviewable, second yellow dismissals were not. Now both are. Plus, if a corner is awarded in error and the referee's mistake is obvious and quickly correctable, that's how it's in the rules, VAR can overturn the corner before play resumes. Interesting. This one, to be honest, I have mixed feelings about. On one hand, fewer wrong dismissals, good. On the other hand, more VAR. We're increasing the surface area of the ref will pause the match for 2 minutes while we check this. That's not what anyone wanted from VAR years ago, when it was supposed to be clear and obvious errors only. Number 4, red card for covering your mouth during confrontations. This is the one I'm here for. Players who cover their mouth with their hand, arm, or shirt during a confrontation with another player or the referee will now get a red card. Why? Because they're covering their mouth to hide what they're saying. Typically, racist or homophobic abuse, so it doesn't get picked up on the broadcast feed or lip read. I'm fine with this rule. Yeah, racist and homophobic abuse on a football pitch is one of the worst things in the sport, and players have been hiding it behind their hands for decades because they know lip readers are coming for them. Cover your mouth, you're admitting you're saying something you don't want anyone to know about. Red card. Important caveat, covering your mouth during a friendly conversation with an opponent, say 2 players chatting about something, is not punishable. The rule is specifically about confrontational situations. Common sense applied. Coach's eye prediction here, there will be at least 1 red card from this rule at this tournament. Someone is going to forget the rule exists, cover their mouth out of habit during an argument with a ref, and get sent off. Or watch for it, telling you this is going to happen. Number 5. Walking off the pitch in protest equals a red card. Teams causing match abandonment equals automatic forfeit. Self-explanatory, if you walk off in protest over a refereeing decision, you're done. If your team causes a match to be abandoned through their actions, you forfeit. This is FIFA telling clubs no more 992 Italian-style team walk-offs. The game will continue with or without you. With or without you. Number 6, goalkeeper. Tactical injury, timeouts banned. Goalkeepers who fake an injury to give the team a tactical rest will face sanctions. They're being clear about what counts as an actual injury and what counts as I need 90 seconds, my team is out of breath. Gonna be interesting to see how will they enforce that. Number 7, semi-automated offside with audio alerts to linesmen. Let's see if this is actually good technology. Previously, the linesman would wait for the play to develop and then flag if the AI offside check said offside. Now, if the offside is more than 10 centimeters, a clear offside, not a tight one, the linesman gets an audio alert and can flag immediately. Faster decisions, less running with the ball already in the net before it gets called back. Cleaner game, maybe. Let's see how it goes. Tight offsides, pardon me, within 10 centimeters, still go through VAR review, which is, I guess, fine-ish. We're not trying to take all those calls out, right? But yeah, still safe with the VAR, of course. A few possibilities. They said there might be referee body cams. It's still pending approval. If this goes through, refs will have body cams feeding into the broadcast, so you can see the play from the ref's perspective. Do we really want that? They tested it at Club World Cup last year, whether it makes the World Cup is still up to regulators. Yeah, you can hear from my voice how excited I am about this. Captains only approach the referee. Yeah, that's not new. It's just being re-emphasized. Only the captain is supposed to talk to the ref on decisions. This was tried at the Euros. It worked unevenly. We've seen that. And let's see how it holds up at the World Cup when stakes go up and players get more famous. Let me add like a net coach's eye assessment. Some of those rules are collectively, FIFA trying to address what people actually complain about. Time wasting, slow VAR, abusive on the pitch behavior. Most of them are okay to good. 5-second goal kick rule is going to change how teams play. Mouth covering, red card is going to produce at least one viral moment. And VAR getting more powers is the worrying one. It's already too slow and we're now giving it more stuff to check. Watch the first few group games for how the referees apply this. The first 5-second goal kick that runs out and produces a corner against, say, Brazil, that's gonna be the moment. The one thing that I really find annoying though are the hydration breaks. That's not a new rule per se, but a very annoying one. Don't have to say much about it because lots of people complain about it. I'm just part of that culture that does not like that because it basically turns football into the NBA. And just wait for it to be a commercial break. Hydration break 3 minutes, and then there you have a commercial in there. Calling it now. Okay, but now let's focus and let's change and let's focus on the actual contenders. So who are the contenders for the World Cup? Let's talk favorites, dark horses, and teams I'm excited about. So the favorites. Spain, of course. Yeah, best technical team in the world. Lamine Yamal, one of the best 3 players on the planet. Midfield, try not to get excited. Rodri, Pedri, Fabian Ruiz. Group H with Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. Easy walkthrough for Spain. Only real worry is Yamal staying healthy for 7 matches in 28 days. If he plays 7 games, Spain probably win the tournament. Second, Argentina. Scaloni is still in charge. Messi at 38 in the MLS. Still capable of decisive tournament moments. Martinez is in form. Enzo Fernandez, McAllister control the midfield. Same old Argentina. Defense conceded twice in 8 qualifiers. Sounds good. Group J with Algeria, Austria, Jordan. They will easily win that group. They are still structurally the team that knows how to win a World Cup. They are in their narrative. You do not bet against the narrative. France, as always, 7-1, 9-1 favorites. France are always France. They still have Mbappe, and in the national team, he somehow makes it work. Deschamps is still in charge, and he's one of those tournament coaches who overperforms in groups and underperforms in knockouts. France lost 2022 in penalties. They lost the 2024 Euros in the semi-final, and they just lost a home friendly to the Ivory Coast last week. Coin flip, really. Group I with Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Gonna be fun with Norway maybe, but should be still an easy group for France, and then we see how they perform in the knockout stages. Can they play as a team? Then they're really good, especially with players like Olise and so on. Are they only focusing on themselves, trying to be superstars? Mbappe, then that might be the end. Okay, Brazil, always around a 10-1 favorite, right? Ancelotti's first major tournament with the Seleção, really unpredictable. They have great players: Vinicius, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Endrick, amazing, of course, Casemiro. Without Neymar, creative burden is on Vini and Bruno Guimaraes. If Ancelotti's structure clicks, they win it, right? If it doesn't, they're probably out in the quarterfinal, and Brazil wants Ancelotti gone within a month, promise you. Group C with Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti, and Morocco is a hell of an opening match, I think. England, as always, also around 10-1. They have the best individual talent on paper. They have done absolutely nothing with it for 40 years. It's always like that. Tuchel is the manager, German tactical coach with a Champions League trophy on his CV, and lots of haters. Group L with Croatia, Panama, and Ghana. England has to come out on top easily, with Kane in the form of his life. If not now, then when. Portugal, around 12-1 favorites. Bruno Fernandes is the best he's ever been. Vitinha, João Neves coming over the Champions League win with PSG. João Neves also one of my best players ever on Football Manager 26. Midfield is generally the best at the tournament. Ronaldo at 41 is the question, of course. Group K with Colombia, Congo, Uzbekistan should be an easy go for Portugal, of course. Now let's focus on the dark horses, the fun part. Norway, 31. Back at the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. Dominated European qualifying, scoring 37 goals. Haaland, Ødegaard, Bob, Soloth. And then they drew 1-1 with Morocco this past Sunday. Competitive, but Haaland didn't score, right? But hey, that's okay. Group I is brutal. But if they get out, I think second place, there are a problem for whoever they meet. Morocco, 51. But they're not really a dark horse anymore, are they? Semi-finals in Qatar, won AFCON last year. Brahim Diaz scored against Norway. Opening against Brazil on Saturday. They won't be intimidated. It's going to be really interesting to see them. We got Japan as well. They made a round of 16 now 4 times. Never made a quarterfinal so far, but this is the kind of thing that finally cracks eventually. They beat Spain and Germany at the last World Cup. They beat Brazil and England in friendlies. A Group F with the Netherlands, Sweden, Tunisia. They should go out second, but maybe even first, depending how the game against the Netherlands goes. Belgium, I want to add them. 7 goals across 2 friendlies, nice, but a young squad, good shape, and their group is very winnable. If their first knockout draw is kind, they could be in a quarterfinal, and then everything goes. So I'm giving them some chance to surprise lots of people. With other teams, Senegal, Colombia, Mexico, and so on, all decent picks for dark horses, but not gonna dwell too much on this right now. If you ask me who's gonna actually win it, if forced to bet $1, but I hate betting, and all those betting companies. But if you would ask me, I mean, I have to listen to facts and stats and this, and so I'm like, okay, sure, Spain, most complete team, best individual talent at his peak, best coach, easiest realistic path. Second pick, Argentina still, because the narrative, they finally know how to do it. It's almost the same squad. Third pick, France, because of the talent. Outside chances, Norway, because, Haaland and others are just like able to produce great moments. I think Germany finishes 5th to 8th in my predicted bracket. Please prove me wrong. All right. Football is settled now until the tournament starts, okay? Let me actually do volleyball for a few minutes, because the Women's Volleyball Nations League just kicked off and there are actual matches happening that are actually fun. So, 5 minutes on volleyball. Figure orientation for the non-volleyball people. Women's VNL Volleyball Nations League started on June 3rd, 18 teams, 3 weeks of pool play across multiple host cities. Then a knockout finals in Macau, China in July, okay? Italy are the back-to-back defending champions, and they're also the Paris 2024 Olympic gold medalists, which makes them the team everyone is trying to beat. World number 2 is Brazil. World number 3 or so, I forgot, is the United States. League 1 is being played in 3 locations: Quebec City for Pool 1, Brasilia for Pool 2, and Nanjing, China for Pool 3. So here are a few quick things from the opening week, okay? The USA opened with control. United States, Ukraine 3-0. So the 3-time VNL champions running it. Ukraine got their points up in the first set, which suggests the USA took their foot off the gas a little bit. But the first 2 sets were, as one-sided as a top-tier matchup gets. USA looks like USA. Germany beat Canada 3-1. The German team, yes, I'm paying attention because, hey, we have to in this house. Beat host Canada 3-1 in Quebec. Solid opening. Germany are a good volleyball team. Top 8 when they're really good. Capable of upsetting top teams on the right day. It's a good launch into the pool. Surprisingly, China lost at home. Czechia, China 3-0. China hosting the pool. China losing 3-0 at home. That is not the start the Chinese Federation wanted. China typically a top 6 team in women's volleyball, and they got swept by Czechia, who are good, but not great. So quick coaches are here. Home advantage in volleyball matters less than in football, and this confirms it. The crowd was watching their team get clinically dismantled. Very interesting. Match of the week. Match of week 1. Poland beating Belgium 3-2 in Nanjing. That's the kind of match that tells you about a tournament. Poland are perennial podium contenders. Belgium are good, but not great. Belgium took it to 5 sets. That suggests Belgium are more dangerous than their seeding would tell you. And Poland aren't in their best form yet, at least. Coach's eye observation from 20 years of being around the sport, right? So a few things to watch through the rest of week 1 and into week 2. USA-Italy and USA-Brazil matchups are gonna be very interesting. They're gonna define the bracket. Those are the 3 teams that are top of the women's game right now. Whichever one of them isn't quite peaking through the pool stage is the one that gets caught in the quarters. Japan and Turkey are the dark horses. Technically excellent, and they have improved their physicality over the past 2 cycles, and either could make the medal rounds, I think. The format, I think, favors consistency over peak performance. You play 12 matches across 3 weeks of pool play. The team that shows up every match, not the ones that explode for a 3-0 win once and lose 3-1 the next day. Those are the ones that make the finals. This is, by the way, the exact opposite of how football tournaments work, where you can lose your opening match and still win the trophy. Volleyball pool play punishes you for inconsistency. Germany, I wanted to say when I prepared the podcast, have a real chance to finish top 6. They had a good launch against Canada, but they fell to Ukraine, and they also lost to, who did they just lose to? They just lost to, I don't know, Italy or another good team. So let's scrap that. But they have a really good young libero, one of the best liberos in Europe, I think, and a really steady set outside attacker who's been quietly excellent. So let's see if we can maybe deep dive a little bit more. Once the VNL continues and they can maybe show up a little bit more. The finals are in Macau in July. By the time you're hearing about the football final from Mexico, we'll also be hearing about who's playing for the VNL medals. Pretty good calendar. Okay, last switch before we wrap, and I need to do this honestly and with some compassion for a 22-year-old who lost his team game number 2. It's NBA Finals time. So, yeah, I call this segment in my working notes Wembanyama, Growing Pains, and the Cost of Youth. Quick state of things. The Knicks were up 2-0 on the Spurs. Game 1 was a 10-point Knicks win at San Antonio. Game 2 was a 1-point Knicks win at San Antonio. The Knicks have stolen home court advantage in the finals. Last week on the show, I told you Spurs would win in 6. They are now down 0-2 and going to New York. That prediction is in quite some trouble. And now the game 2 story. The Spurs were down 14 in the fourth quarter. They mounted a 14-0 run to tie the game at 104-104. Wemby was the engine. 29 points. The comeback was his. Then, with 13 seconds left and the score tied, Brunson missed a jumper. Wemby grabbed the rebound. The Spurs had the ball with a chance to win. This is the moment. What Wembanyama did, he threw a pass up court toward his teammate Stephon Castle. Castle wasn't expecting the pass. The ball hit Castle in the back, ricocheted, and went to Brunson. Wemby fouled Brunson to stop the play. Brunson made 1 of 2 free throws. Knicks 1 of 5, Spurs 1 of 4. The Spurs got 1 more shot. Wemby pulled up for a half distance shot over Robinson with a few seconds left. Shot rimmed out. Game over. After the game, Wemby was talking about it. He said, "I threw it 1 away. I messed up." And he's now 1 of 9 on go-ahead field goal attempts in the final 5 seconds of his career. Regular season and playoffs combined. 1 of 9. The coach is eye on this, right? Here's the lesson. Wemby is 22 years old. He is statistically the youngest player in this finals matchup on either team. He just played a 14-0 run, scored 29, dragged his team back from a 14-point deficit in the finals, and he's now the guy who lost the game. Both things are true. This is what youngsters look like in the deepest moments. They make the heroic plays and the killer mistakes, often within the same possession. Wemby threw a no-look pass to a player who wasn't looking for a ball because his brain at 22 is operating at a tempo he hasn't fully mastered yet. The decision was the right type of decision. Push the ball, go for the winner. The execution was the kind of execution you make when you've never been in the exact moment before. You know who else has been in this exact moment before? Almost nobody. The Spurs are the second youngest team to ever make the finals. Only the Trailblazers from 1977 were younger. Wemby is in his second playoff run. He has played in zero previous finals. He is learning this live on TV. There's some context that should help. Tim Duncan in his first finals run in 1999 was 22 years old. He won the series. But Duncan was playing with David Robinson, an established veteran who had been to this moment. Wemby is the de facto leader of the team where no one has been here before. Completely different challenge. Other 22-year-olds in the finals, LeBron 2007, lost 4-0 to the Spurs. Went on to win 4 championships later. Larry Bird at 23, Magic at 20, but Magic was playing with Kareem and won that one. Michael Jordan didn't make the finals until he was 28. Kobe at 21 won as the second option behind Shaq. The pattern, most generational players lose their first finals. They learn from it, they come back, their expectations when they're playing with an older co-star who carries them. Wemby doesn't have that. He's the older co-star and the younger one. The Spurs roster is built around him for the next decade, not around him and an established veteran. Which means this is the learning curve. This is the part where he learns what it costs to lose game 2 on the finals on a turnover. Will the Spurs come back from a 0-2? Historically, teams that go down 0-2 in the finals win the series about 5% of the time. The two teams that have ever stolen both road games to open a finals, 93 Bulls, 1995 Rockets, both won the title. So the math says the Knicks are very, very likely to win this. But then again, they are the Knicks. The Spurs going to need Wemby to have the series of his life from this point forward. Well, I'm watching in Game 3, Tuesday in New York. Not Wemby's stat line. His decisions under pressure. Does he go to the rim instead of pulling up for a contested jumper? Does he find the open teammate instead of forcing a no-look pass? The coach's eye answer to can the Spurs come back in those details, not in the points scored. He's 22. He'll be back. The question is whether he'll be back this series or next year. Alright, let's wrap this up. Germany beat the US 2-1. Looked competent but not dominant. Eriksen collapsed in a friendly and we wish him well. Norway are 3-1 over Sweden and 1 with Morocco. Haaland and Ødegaard are real and so is a dark horse case. FIFA has decided to change all the rules right before the tournament. I'm exaggerating. Which is going to be interesting to watch in week 1. Spain are my pick to win the World Cup. Germany are at 10%. Argentina are the narrative pick. France are the coin flip. In volleyball, US looking sharp. Italy still the team to beat. China losing at home. Germany, let's see if they can catch a breath. In the NBA, Wemby is a 22-year-old learning that the finals are different. Knicks up to 0, Game 3, Tuesday. Thursday, Bangkok time, World Cup opens with Mexico versus South Africa. Sunday, Germany versus Curaçao in Houston, I believe. Next episode, match day 1 done. Hot takes everywhere, and we'll do a proper coach's eye on what actually happened in the first 3 days, including almost certainly Spain looking better than everybody else and Belgium quietly winning matches 17-0. If this was worth your time, subscribe. If it wasn't, also subscribe. The number helps. We've got a month of World Cup ahead of us and there's going to be a lot to cover. Tactic, back next Monday. Thanks for listening.